Hey guys, it's been a while and I just wanted to make a quick little update about how our summer's going and how things are going to be changing next year with COVID stuff. Right now, we are not doing any school except for my 4th graders finishing her math book. Maybe I'll get into how we ended the school year. It was kind of crazy with everything being closed and we weren't able to utilize things like the library and other classes. So things got a little weird, which I think is pretty normal compared to, what else is going on. And one of the big things I told the girls that they had to do was that they had to finish their math book that they were on. I have one in Gamma and I have one in Beta, Math UC. And so once they were finished with their books, then they could be completely done, and that's the only thing they're doing right now. My 2nd grader just finished her Beta, so she's done, and the Gamma is, I think we're on lesson 26 or 27 in Gamma. My other daughter is. So once we are done with that, then we will not be doing any type of schoolwork for the rest of the summer. We start after Labor Day, so we don't start till September, so there's still plenty of time for them to not have to think about doing any school at all if they don't want to. Now, I have been thinking about what we're going to do that's different this year due to the fact that I had to change a lot the end of last school year. I'm really trying to go into this school year with a different mindset, right? So some of the things that I've thought about and that I've decided that we're going to do differently are I'm not going to utilize the library. Maybe not at all, or maybe just a little bit. Before, I was utilizing the library every week. If I needed like a book, like say if they needed to read a specific chapter book, as opposed to me buying it always, I would always go and check to see if I could get it from the library first, or we would get a copy from the library. And when the library shut down here, that was gone, right? That resource was gone. So it really made me think that I can't rely on it. And so going forward, I'm just going to purchase the books. So like eBay has become my best friend, because seriously, I have bought so many $3 and $2 eBay books this summer, because my soon-to-be, well, I guess now she's in 3rd grade, is a crazy reader. She reads multiple books all the time. She's always reading. So I'm trying to keep up with her basically. And our library like just opened maybe like a week or 2 ago or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so for months and months now, we haven't had that access. So I've just decided to start eBaying books, which I have had great success with. So I'm going to continue that on next year. Now I'll have a 5th grader and a 3rd grader, and we're still doing Oak Meadow as our base. And so I think I have a video of my unboxing of a 5th grade curriculum that I got from a wonderful fellow homeschooling parent who took such good care of it so I could have it next. And I believe she had all of the books that we'll need for just the basic chapter reading, silent reading time. My 3rd grader, when she was in 2nd grade, she already flew past the readers for 2nd grade. She was reading all these other ones from the library. And then when we no longer went to the library, I just decided to let her start reading some of the 3rd grade books, which was okay because I knew that like it wasn't book specific. Where I know like in 4th grade and 5th grade, it's very specific on the book that you read. 3rd grade is not, it's just like read one of the readers. So she read Pippi Longstocking, and it took her like no time at all, of course, but I tried to hold off on anything else, and that's when I started buying more eBay books. She got really into the Choose Your Own Adventures, the Bailey School Kids, things like that, American Girl, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, just all kinds of books. And then of course she just started going through our library, personal library. But this is one thing that I'm really changing this year, is I'm not relying on the library, period. I just can't. I can't rely on it. So I'm just going to be buying more books. And for someone like me who hates having stuff, it's been a little difficult. I've gotten some crates out and I've just started a homeschool library. Before, we had our own personal libraries. Basically books that I don't mind packing and moving because I've moved a lot. We've moved a lot since we've been married, my husband and I. So it's a very condensed version of what books we want. And our daughters have a bookshelf, and so do our sons. So I've just decided that I have to have a homeschool book area, and I've just accepted it, and I'm just going to buy all the books that we need, all the books that we might want, all the supplemental books, because normally like in 4th grade you study the early colonial history, and I used a ton of library books for that, and I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm going to get them myself. I'm going to have them. So that is a big change that's coming up this year, is that I will be purchasing all the books that we need. I'm not going to rely on a public service that could close down on me. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to really focus on utilizing the small businesses that cater to homeschoolers. This was a huge thing before. My girls went to an art class that had a special homeschool art class once a week, but we didn't go once a week because it was kind of expensive and it was kind of a drive, and so we would go like once a month. I'm going to make sure that we give them the money to help them continue to support homeschooling. I think it's very important, and I've just seen such great care from these places as they've had to close down, how they've modified with virtual classes or take-home boxes. And so I want to continue to utilize these people who put in a lot of time and effort to stay within the community, to stay relevant, to stay open, to be able to keep paying employees. So I'm going to make sure that I take as much as I can out of my homeschooling budget to support businesses that cater to, or businesses that support homeschoolers. So there are a lot of businesses, not so much in our town, but in surrounding towns that have like special days for homeschoolers. Maybe it's like a bowling alley or a skating rink or a jumping place or something. I'm going to really make an effort to be a part of that. In the years past, we've done homeschool rock climbing, and we've done art classes and field trips and things like that, but I'm really going to focus this year on supporting those businesses who have had homeschoolers' backs, basically, and who have wanted to support homeschoolers. So that's another thing that I'm really going to focus on this coming year, is just supporting the places that have tried their best to stay open and to do whatever they can to enrich the children's lives, whether it's through online or oh goodness, there was an art, where my girls do their art class, she actually made like take home boxes that you could order, and then you could open them up together. She's done a lot of awesome stuff, and I've been watching her involvement in this, and so I just really want to support businesses like that that have been trying their hardest to keep the homeschooling community running with them. So that's another thing that I'm really wanting to do that's different this year. The other main thing is goes along with sports. So my kids are involved in a lot of sports, community sports, not school sports, and they were all canceled. So no soccer, no swimming, no softball, anything like that. We just started tennis lessons again because the tennis courts have been open for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe. And so they just started doing tennis lessons again, so they've been doing that on Fridays, but everything else is canceled. And so again, going along with my minimalist theme, I don't like to have a lot of stuff. So my backyard really doesn't have a lot of gym, playtime, sports type equipment. And so what I did was I decided that I was gonna put money towards that as well. So right when we realized that we were gonna be staying at home, so this would have been back in April, probably April, I bought a trampoline. And I like went to Rural King and I bought a trampoline, and there were like 5 trampolines or 6 trampolines there. And by the next weekend they were all gone because everybody had the same idea I did, right? Like we don't want our kids jumping all over our couches all the time. So I went and bought a big trampoline, like a 12-foot one, and I put it up in the backyard, and it has been amazing. It's been wonderful. And so we did that. And then I bought a soccer goal because my kids all play soccer. One of those nice fiberglass ones that you can fold down and fold back up, and I can mow around, or I can pick it up to mow under it. And a couple different size soccer balls. and we've been doing that. And then since tennis started, we've continued on with tennis. I'm just going to focus more on making sure that I've got the activities that my kids can do here, as opposed to relying on the parks, which were also closed until like 2 weeks ago. So I don't have a playground. We don't have a playground. We don't have swings or anything in our yard. We don't have a huge yard. So I might be getting a swing set. I'm not sure yet. We might be getting, we have like a kiddie pool, but there's like no kiddie pools anywhere, which is like the kiddie pool shortage of 2020, right? So we actually had one from last year that we left out all year long. And we were able to reshape it and clean it, and there's only like one hole in it. But we live in the country, so we have well water, and so I don't have to pay for my water. So I can refill the pool, and then at the end of the day, I can use that pool for my garden, that pool water for my garden, and there's nothing wasted, and I'm not paying a lot of money for, you know, city water or anything like that. So we've been using like a little kiddie pool, but maybe we'll go and get like a 3-foot, 5-foot pool. I've thought about like a sandbox, because I do have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. I've thought about a basketball goal. I'm not a huge basketball player. I'm a golfer, and I like baseball, and I like baseball and golf basically are my 2 favorite sports. So neither one of those, you know, we do right now. So, or I do it, but my kids don't do it. So I've thought about doing a basketball hoop. All my kids have bikes and scooters and things like that, but I'm really trying to think of things that we can do at home, or we can have friends come over and do, and we don't have to rely on things that can close. So I'm really trying to frame next year on what can I do to ensure that the year goes as consistently as possible within my own rights to own property and my own rights to own things. I used to always have a mindset of the community involvement and relying on the community, and you know, I'm in America, I'm in Indiana, so my taxes paying for these things, so technically I own part of it, which is kind of what we're always taught in school, but I think with all of this, we were really shown that that's not true. Because if I own a soccer ball, my kid can play soccer, but if I own 1/5,000th or whatever of the library, it can still close and I can't get books. And so my kid can't get books. And then what really comes down to is, do you have the money to buy books? And if you don't have books. Unless you go to like a place where they're giving them away for free. So I'm really trying to budget with my money things that we're going to need. In case stuff gets shut down again. And so in case that ever happens again, we've got what we're going to use, and I don't have to really rely on these community resources as something that's important to our schooling. It can always be extra, it can always be fun, it can always be something extra, something on the surface, something around it, but it's never going to be a part of the core anymore because I can't rely on it. And so, yeah, that's the biggest like shift I think that I'm having with homeschooling this year. I'm going to have 3 kids. I'm going to have a 5th grader and a 3rd grader and a kindergartner. And so I still haven't even thought of how I'm going to organize my days yet, because I also have he'll be 4 when we start school. And I'm not sure how that's going to go. So once I start organizing exactly what we're gonna do on our days and what curriculums I'm gonna use for everything, I will make a video about it and I'll let you know, and I'll start sharing all the extras and what I bought where for 5th grade and 3rd grade Oak Meadow for math UC. And in kindergarten, I don't use a curriculum. I don't use Oak Meadow curriculum in kindergarten. And I'll share more about what I do with kindergarten in probably a upcoming video. But I just wanted to kind of touch base on what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and where we are homeschool wise. And I hope you guys are all well. I hope you figured it out. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you all figured it out. I'm sure you all are just doing awesome at it. And if it didn't turn out, it didn't turn out the way we thought it was, and that's okay. And I'm sure we still did awesome with it, right? So I hope you all are well, and enjoying summer the best you can. It's safe and healthy, and I will see you guys soon.